Recording in progress.
Hello,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Okay. You and me again.
Boy, I tell you what, we gotta stop this meeting like this. You know that? So people are gonna start talking.
I don't know about that. You know, it gives us a little time to catch up.
There you go.
So that's actually a good thing. Got a question for you.
Absolutely.
Do you spend a lot of time on the internet?
More than I admit to.
More than you admit to. Okay. All right. Have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Richard Wolff?
Richard Wolff. He's a writer. Is that the Richard Wolff?
Economics professor.
Economics professor.
Yeah. Well, economist actually, but yeah, he's a professor. I think he's at Penn State.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where he's at. I could be wrong. Somewhere back in the Northeast. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's a number of Wolffs out there that are currently making news, or so. Anyway.
Yeah, I've been listening to a series of lectures that I mean, he's been on YouTube for probably 5 or 6 years at least that I know of. But he has a program. It's called Economic Update. And it's really interesting. I mean, you know, he talks about a lot about the world economy and about, you know, current events and how they're affecting, you know, economic shifts in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was just listening to a program and he was talking, you know, the general premise is, and he hadn't gotten to it yet. So it's like an hour-long program. But what he was talking about, or was getting around to talking about, was the transformation that the country, you know, of China has made economically within the last 15 to 20 years.
Oh, yes.
Which is nothing short of amazing. But, you know, he was beginning to preface that by the comparison of, you know, the current day Biden administration and how they're basically compared to Roosevelt's administration, you know, during the Depression.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they're not. I mean,
well, that's true. They're not, no.
Yeah, I mean, they're falling far, far short of, you know, of what people are saying that, you know, needs to be done, you know, as far as environmental regulation and changes, you know, to the economy and restructuring it. So anyway, I'm kind of in the middle of that. I didn't know whether you ever listened, you know, to that program or knew who he was or anything, but you know, interesting series of lectures and talks about stuff like that.
Yeah. I had let's see, two of my friends. One was the campus chancellor, president of the York, Pennsylvania campus of Penn State, and so he just retired here. Oh gosh, a year and a half ago or so. And then another one of my colleagues at Southern Poly spent 2 years, I guess, 3 years up there at Penn State and doing internet teaching, doing the behind the scenes stuff to make the internet work for a teaching environment, basically is what he does. And so he just left there and went to Michigan, University of Michigan, and trying to do the same thing. But anyway, yeah. So I have a small association with Penn State.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was just listening to this series of lectures that, this guy's giving. And, it's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
Just, looking at it from the economic standpoint, when you start making comparisons, but it's definitely eye-opening. It makes you really think.
Yeah. I'd say I have my own opinions of the current state of the economy and where it's going, but I'll hold those.
Well, yeah, we all, we're all going to view it through a different lens.
That's true.
Where
That's
you're
true.
at,
But it's interesting how I've had the privilege of seeing the economy from the standpoint of a for-profit business,
Mhm.
or a nonprofit business, and from a real total educational environment, having worked in all those kinds of environments. And it's interesting how the views of all those differ dramatically.
Yeah. One of the points he brought up was I guess it's the failure of the current administration to engage private industry in like alternative energy, and
Right.
and that a lot of the efforts that have been made have fallen far short of where they really need to be, and they haven't given business really the incentive, to actually jump into it, with both feet, and actually do something.
Well, the political viewpoint of the current administration has never been one that cherished a good relationship with business. I mean, Democrats have never done that. So, I wouldn't expect anything different.
Well, yeah, it's kind of at a make or break point. They're going to have to do something, because it doesn't. Nothing sounds good right now.
No, it doesn't. You're right.
So anyway, away from the whole economy thing and all that, how's everybody doing?
Okay.
Good.
Good.
We're here.
Well,
We're looking
happy.
for a storm here. It's getting very black.
Oh yeah, it's getting black everywhere. Over in Shmoyna, it's getting kind of dark and foreboding looking as well. Anyway, happy Tuesday afternoon.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, it's about 2:00, and we're gonna get rolling here.
Who's Michael Halpner?
I don't know who Michael Halpner is.
Hey, gang, and Charles. I hate to invite myself to your class, but I didn't have a way to reach out to you previously, Charles. This is sort of a last-minute project.
Okay.
I'm a master's student in gerontology.
Oh, okay.
I have a summer class called Creativity and Aging.
Okay.
And I was looking for an interesting class that I could perhaps observe and maybe ask you a couple of questions after the class, Charles, either via email or phone. If you have a little time for me.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to sit in on the class, and if you have questions or whatever, hey.
Thank you so much. I'm also an executive director of a senior community in Buckhead.
Oh, okay. May I ask which one?
Oh, sure. It's Atria Buckhead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've talked to those folks actually about putting together an art program.
Well, I'd love to talk to you about that too. So there's maybe there's two subjects there we could tackle.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to sitting in. What we're doing today, the class is titled Art Share, and we are looking at a lot of the artwork that the participants who are online here and others have submitted. And so we're going to basically be doing, critiques and conversations about the work and about, you know, maybe the things that work really well and things that, you know, could maybe be better,
Awesome.
like my speech.
Are we being studied?
Are we, well, I don't know. I don't think we're being studied, you know. Just a
No, not in that way. It's more to see, kind of understand what the participants get out of the class, and if there's ongoing learning from these sessions, and to just try to understand a little bit about the goals of the programming.
Okay. Anybody want to comment on that? Anybody got anything to say?
Well, I can comment on it. I think it helps everybody. We're learning a lot, even
Yeah,
though
Gene,
some of us know a
lean
little
forward,
bit,
okay?
some of us know a little bit more, but there's always room for learning. Okay, I'm leaning forward. I don't want to be in the television or in the computer. I want to be at the computer.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, when you sit way back, your sound cuts out.
Yeah, I know that. I'm not sitting way back. That's what's so funny.
Uh-huh.
And that's Gene. And
Yes.
what medium do you work in, Gene?
I work in watercolor, acrylics, and pastels.
Awesome.
And I'm a 90-year-old person. So almost 90-year-old person. But I've been painting
That is great.
for a very long time,
Have you
and
been
I love it.
have you been a lifelong artist?
Pretty much.
No, that's a guy at Buckhead.
I know it.
Okay.
No. I should have got one. Come on.
All right.
That's
Awesome.
Robert.
Thank-
Well, I'll tell you what.
Thanks for sharing that with.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into
So we learn a lot from Charles.
guys. Yeah, the work that you guys submitted, and yeah, and we'll talk more, you know, about all kinds of things. So
Thank you.
let's look at and see what you guys sent in, because you got a fair amount of work, which is good. We're always happy to see that. I think I saw her, Susan Adair.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to start with you since you basically gave me a heads up and you got a short window of time here.
Thank you.
So these are your drawings from Friday, from the drawing class. And so this is the first image that we worked with. And I'm going to kind of throw this one back on you. What do you think really worked well in this drawing? What do you think that you could have done better?
I kind of like the top better than the bottom. the top of the dress and the where the arms are going.
Okay.
I'm not crazy about the way I flowed the bottom part, but I guess
Okay.
it's okay. And I didn't
Yeah.
have time to do the background, so I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. You know, I think you did better on the upper torso. And what you got right about it was the positioning of the shoulders and how the the figure itself isn't facing directly forward, but turned slightly so that one shoulder sits back behind the other one. And so you got that, and that was really good. You know, the orientation of the head and kind of the overall proportions in the upper body, all really nice. Now, compared to the lower part of the figure, proportionally, you did well, okay? But, you know, I think where it could have gotten better was you were seeing too much, and you were trying to get too much in there, you know, because you're trying to draw like every fold and little nuance, rather than looking at it and simplifying it and understanding that really what you needed to capture there was the idea that it was moving, that there was motion involved.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And probably what would have worked better is a lot less, you know, just a few, you know, lines to really indicate or suggest that there was movement in there. And, you know, and then it would have overall been a much stronger drawing, you know, in doing that. Okay,
Thank you.
that's just
Okay.
my thought. So, anybody else got any opinions about that? Any thoughts? Anybody want to jump in?
I think she showed the turning very well.
Uh-huh.
She showed the lady, yeah. I thought I could see the flow of the turn and everything.
Mhm.
I wish I could have, mine could have looked like that. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll talk about yours in a minute.
Oh, no.
If you're coming
Yeah, but I love it. As you say, she may have too much, but it shows everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it gets the character of the dress that she was wearing.
Right.
But again, I think a lot of the kind of repetitive shapes and things like that make it a little more static, and just simplifying it, you know, into some pretty basic curved lines, things like that, could have probably done more to enhance the idea that it was moving. So, but hey,
I think it shows a lot of movement.
It does.
Mhm.
yeah, she's got the twisting part of it, you know, really nicely. Okay, so let's go. This is your next drawing. And this is the guy that was in the fishing boat, and he was kind of moving along the river. And, you know, proportionally, you know, his figure to the boat, everything else feels, you know, pretty good. What were you using to draw with, Susan?
A pencil, just a
Just a
plain-
graphite pencil?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have like a 4B or like any of the softer graphite pencils to draw with?
Yeah, I do. I thought one time you told me they needed to be darker, so I used a 6B for this.
Oh,
for all-
okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, because what I think the thing that could have maybe helped this a little bit was if you had pushed the darks like up under the boat, you know, areas like that, really pushed them quite a bit darker. See?
Okay.
You know,
So
because
darker than a 6B, am I?
well, it's not just the pencil, it's how much pressure and how dark you build it up. Because that 6B can get
Okay, it was a well-sharpened
Mhm.
pencil too, so maybe
Yeah.
it was too
Yeah.
fine. Like-
But yeah, you just needed to go back over it a few times and build up that dark to get a darker value overall. See, and that would have really separated, you know, the front of the boat that was going up under the rest of this, you know, from the side. See, if you squint your eye down, if you like squint way down, you don't get a lot of change in value here, right?
Right.
And so just increasing that value would have sort of turned that and had it move, you know, in a different direction backward away from us while this is kind of running parallel to us. Okay.
Okay.
All right. But somebody got a question or statement? Nope. Okay. All right. Just checking. All right. And then last but not least, you know, we had the woman who was sitting by the window, right?
Right.
Yeah. And you decided to include really just about everything, you know,
Well,
except
I
for,
really started off with the flowers and the table, and I didn't like the way I did the table, so I added the woman
okay.
as an after.
Yeah.
After. But
So what did you not like about the way you did the table?
I don't think it looks proportionately like it's a real table. I think it's kind of, but I couldn't quite get it to smooth out, and the top of it just doesn't isn't even or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think generally what you're talking about is it doesn't feel like it's in the correct perspective, right?
Right.
Because actually the way that you drew it, you seem to be way up above the table, looking down on it, rather than kind of at her eye level. See?
Okay, I kind of propped up my tablet in front of, you know, on my knees. And I try to get it where it's not.
Yeah, where it's propped up a little bit. Okay. Yeah. But it's really when you look at the figure, most of the figure works really nicely. The flowers work pretty nicely. Where you seem to be off is in the angle right here at the table.
Right.
And you got it running kind of downhill. And to my recollection from the image, it really didn't. It was running, more horizontal,
Right.
or maybe there was just a slight downhill, but not by much. But you made it a little more extreme. So again, what that did is that elevated our eye level, in the drawing, and made us, it made our eye level way up here instead of really about in here. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now, if you just take out the table, if you just kind of cover that up, her relationship to the flowers and everything worked pretty well. But as soon as you get that table in there, you see that gives us some information about the perspective.
Uh-huh.
And, because that's not quite in keeping with the way you drew her or the flowers, it feels kind of tipped up and kind of odd, and what that does, like I said, is it raises our horizon line and eye level, up above her. Okay.
I think the table got wet, so it warped.
Is that it? It rained. They had the window open, and it
It's
rained.
raining here.
There you go. Okay, that'll work. Okay. All right. So Bernice, it's your turn. So Bernice, so explain to me what you're doing here, Bernice. Okay.
First thing, I think I wrote on the thing I sent you is that's a cheat sheet. What I did was I went online and that's a print strictly from the internet. And what I did was I made a copy and then tried to put the that as I said, that's not mine there. The next one is mine. And what I tried to do was put the lines in, the darkness in the lines where they told me to put it in.
Right.
But
Okay.
I copied it from that.
So let me check a couple of things out. All right. Now, this is not you, this image.
That's not me.
Now, is this the whole screen right here or part of the screen?
And
And all of that was on the computer?
Hmm?
Okay, so somebody had drawn this apple
Right.
and done the grid. Okay, all right.
Right.
And then they
even did the gradation line on the bottom.
Right, yeah, the value scale on the bottom. And
Oh,
Susan,
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
to make a point, you see, that pencil could have gotten that dark.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you see, you just need to be a little patient with it and build up the values from a dark to a light and anything in between. And so, they're doing a 6-step value scale here. And you can do more or you can do less, but I would recommend that you do at least 5 if you want to be able to explain any kind of form, and particularly on round objects, you need at least, 5 values to do what we call turn form in the drawing, okay?
Okay. Yeah. I've seen that.
But Bernice, back to you. So this,
That's where I copied it onto a piece of paper and tried to follow what she's.
okay. So if I get this right, what you did is you did a screen capture or whatever, and then you printed that out onto a piece of paper, and then
Right.
you added the values on this. Is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So that's probably a quick, easy way of doing it. I guess my question to you is, why did you just not, do
I
similar thing in your sketch pad? Huh?
I guess I want to get it in today so you can tell me what I did wrong, so that when I do it again, I will know what I did right, how to do it right.
All right. Okay. So let's talk about that. All right. So basically what you did is you took the pencil that you had and you began to lay in values on this grid that somebody else had drawn of an apple.
Yeah.
And if you know, the example you were going by was this drawing that this person was doing, and look at the arrangement of the values. Okay, how, you know, you get the light, you know, up here in this upper right hand quadrant of the apple, and then as you move down, it begins to get a little bit darker, right?
Right.
But my question is, now squint your eye now. Is this area here as dark or light as this area?
No.
No, I'd say it's probably darker.
Yeah, I think I have mine too dark.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you went a little too far in that area. Okay. But now as you move back around the apple, right, what happens?
There are light areas and there are dark areas.
Well, you go from a lighter value over here to a very dark value over here, right?
Right.
And on your apple, you don't do that, do you?
Oh.
See? You know, there's really a lot more dark, you know, over on this side right here. And then this is overall lighter than you've got it. So, you know, simply saying you didn't really follow the same transition of values from one side to another that you see here. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this being printed out, you know, onto a piece of paper from a image on a computer, and depending on how good your printer is, you know, it might pick up, you know, some of the subtlety in the value, but generally printers don't do well with that. But, you know, I would kind of look at this, and we talk about those 5 values, right, to turn form. And again, you know, you've got the light, and really if you squint your eye down, you can almost draw a line right through this apple, about right here, going up, and then up to where the stem is, and then kind of making a curve back around to the very back of the apple. And so everything to the right of that is light. Everything to the left of that line is shadow.
Okay.
So that's the first big distinction. Now on the light side, you have really about 3 values. You've got this area right here, which is what we call highlight. And then notice that as you move out of that, it gets just a little bit darker. Not a lot, just a little. You can kind of see just a little shift in value, right? And so that's what we call light, right? And then as you move down and the surface begins to curve away from the light, you begin to get what we call midtone, right in here, on the bottom half of the light side of the apple. And then as we move into the shadow, we get what we call the core shadow right here. And if you squint your eye down again, this is darker. It's actually darker than either of the values on either side of it. Okay? As you move toward light, it moves into midtone. As you move back into the shadow, it moves from the core shadow into what we call shadow, right? And then you know, you get what if you move further, normally, you know, it gets darker, but then you, on a round object, usually what you would get is as it moves to the edge actually gets lighter. And you don't see it in here. And that's what we call reflected light. And you
Oh,
didn't,
okay.
you know, this person either didn't put it in, you know, or if they did put it in, it didn't show up in the print. But that's, you know, that's the 5 steps in value that you would need to really make that feel round.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So far, yes. Mhm.
Yeah. We've done, you know, we've done demonstrations and things on turning form
I
before.
know, but this is my first time trying to start with the shading from 6 to 1, you know. So I
Right.
said, I just been painting. I said, you know, I got to stop and go back and do those values. So that's what I've been trying to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's always really, really good practice, you know, in trying to do a value scale and trying to get, say, 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 distinct steps in value. And again, you know, the more steps you have, the more information you can put in. Because reality is, you know, if you're trying to draw a round form, you have to have at least those 5 to make it feel round. But if you really want to make it feel truly dimensional, you may have 12 or 15 steps in value to really turn that form.
Oh, okay.
So you could really have quite a bit more than that. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Armando,
Yeah.
he's here. Yay!
Oh, that's his face.
That's his face he was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So Armando, I think you're right. It looks like a face. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, does it look exactly like the girl that, you know, that we were working from? No. Is that important? No. Okay. The important thing is it looks like a human face, right? And you've got some nice things going on there in the sense that you're beginning to indicate what's in light, what's in shadow, right? Now, you probably could have had a little more in shadow, like down here on the neck, things like that, underneath the jawline. And that would have maybe pushed the bottom part of the face forward by having some value on the neck. And if I remember the image correctly, most of her neck was in pretty deep shadow, really. And so that could have helped, you know, just bringing that down and around underneath
Mhm.
the lit part of her face. The other place that she had light was on her shoulder and across her chest, areas like that. So all of this was lighter, and then the hair and the side plane of the face and the neck were all darker. And, you know, just breaking it up into those 2 basic values at first, and then building more steps, you know, could be helpful to you, okay?
Uh-huh.
But the good news is, okay, you've got a feeling of the front plane of the face, and you got a side plane of the face, and that's a big step for you. So
Thank you.
it works. Okay. So what do you like about this drawing, and what do you think? You know, what's your thoughts on how you could have done it better?
I still have trouble making faces, but I guess
Armando, you gotta speak up, and you gotta.
I say I'm having trouble when I try to paint the
With what?
face. I guess I'm doing a little bit here. I'm still having trouble when I'm trying to make a face. Still.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Especially the shape of the face.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you simplify the shape of the face, right? You know, take out all the lumps and bumps, you know, like, you know, take away the nose and the eye sockets and everything. You know, basically the shape of the face is this,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And in fact, this apple is lit pretty much the way that that face was. Okay. See, the light's coming in from the right-hand side above it, and most of the light is up here, which means that this is going to be lighter, and everything as it moves to the left and down, you know, the face, it's not a flat shape, it's curved. So somewhere in here, it starts all turning away from the light. And so it starts getting darker little by little until you get to the side plane of the face. Once you get to the side plane of the face, then it changes very quickly and becomes pretty much a very strong shadow after that point. So, but that would help you get, you know, your basic form, you know, and make that shape feel round. And then you can worry about a lot of the details, like the features, like the side plane of the nose, the eye sockets, things like that. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, you did good. Good job on that one. Anybody got anything to say about it?
Come on, people, say something. I won't get mad. Don't worry. Say it.
Okay, she looks a little stern. I'd say that's the wicked stepmother.
Yeah.
I think she looks sneaky, like she's up to something.
Aha. Okay.
I wouldn't want to confront her in the dark.
No?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't look pleasant, does she?
Not a happy
Yeah.
camper.
No, she looks upset.
Yeah, she looks a little upset. So, okay. Well, you know, let's cross one hurdle at a time. You know, first of all, he's got it looking like a human head.
Yeah.
Okay. So now he can start working on expressions. So
He does have an expression. He's not happy.
He does have an expression, all right. Yes, that is true. I'll agree with you on that one. Okay. But maybe he can work on a happier expression. Okay. All right. Oh, we have more Bernice. So Bernice.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what's going on here?
I was sitting at the table and I had some scrap paper and I just grabbed a bottle of white paint and said, well, I just paint it on and see what happens.
And
when I look at it, especially when I look at Susan's drawing, I know that the girl's dress is a lot longer than that.
yeah.
I have her, the bottom of the dress a little short.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the proportions between the upper part of the body and the lower part. It doesn't really feel like, to me, like it's particularly terribly short. It's just that you drew, or you kind of created a figure that wasn't as thin.
Yeah, I did make us kind of thick.
Yeah, you fed her a little bit, you know, made her kind of beefy. So yeah, she's not a size 2. You know, she's more like about a size 16. So
He was thinking of Twiggy.
right. Yeah. So yeah, you know, same idea. You just gave her a little more meat on her bones. That's all. Okay. But now, when I look at this, you know, I recognized it as being that same figure that we drew. Okay. Now, what did you paint her on? It looks like maybe a piece of wallpaper or something like that.
No, it's a piece of scrap, you know, the scrapbook paper.
Scrapbook paper. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I just grabbed a piece, you know, since she has a background. So let me just try that since I never use it, you know.
Okay. Well, that was a good idea. You know, I mean, it's a nice background to, you know, contrast, you know, the white dress, you know, and the white definitely stands up on it. Now, were you planning on going back in and drawing on top of this?
Well, you know, we did the 30-minute drawing. So
Mhm.
I was thinking once we finished, we were supposed to be finished. So I didn't touch it. Yeah.
Okay.
Once I put the paint on, and 30 minutes had gone by, you said, okay, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I guess my question is,
And besides, it was really,
if you had the time, would you go back in with, say, pencil and draw in, you know, the dress and everything over the white so that you get an idea of where her arms and, you know, her waist and her neck and her face and things are? Would you go in and do that? Or
yes.
are you kind of considering this kind of a done deal?
No. I would love to go back in. I don't have a picture of it, but I would love to. I don't think did you send a picture of it?
Well, you know, we talked about that on Friday. And, you know, basically I decided not to send those images out on Friday because I didn't want people changing what they had done in the class. We wanted to look at that first. And then what I'm going to do this afternoon is I'll send out those 3 images to everybody. So you'll have them to work from.
Okay.
So if you,
in that case, yes, I will go back and do her again.
Yeah. So if you want to do more work on it, I mean, you can. Okay.
Okay. I will.
That's fine. Okay. So, yeah. Then I've got a few things to say about this one. So now this was the image with the girl sitting by the table, and you got the vase, you got the table, and then you've got no flowers. You left those out. And you have no woman sitting next to the table, but you do have the wall.
What I was trying to do, I was trying to make the wall move, you know, and kind of in the center of the page. The wall goes backwards, and when I look at it, it comes towards me, and I didn't know how to correct that.
Yeah.
You look at the vase on the left side of the vase, the wall is coming toward me. And I was like, and so what I did, I stopped and I started another one, and the wall still seemed like it's coming toward me rather than going backwards.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And do you have any idea why that is?
Probably because my shading is wrong.
No, it's not the shading. It's the line. Okay. Think of it this way.
Okay.
What you're trying to show, I'm guessing now, is the corner of the room right here or is it over here?
It's two corners. Would you move your cursor a little to the right, a little more to the right.
Over here.
The right, tiny bit right there, right there. The window comes out.
Okay, yeah, the window. Okay,
comes out. Yeah.
This is the plane facing us.
And then where that line is moves back.
Right. Okay.
And then the other thing.
And then this is the corner.
Exactly.
And then this is the wall that's again we're facing, just like we're facing this wall.
Right.
Okay.
But I couldn't get it to go backwards. It kept coming forward on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so here's the thing. It's where your eye level is.
Oh, okay.
See, reality is that when we're looking at that photograph, that our eye level was a little above the top of this vase, kind of about right in there. Okay. And if that's true, okay, then the brickwork or whatever line we saw, on this back wall, would run horizontal, okay? And then when we get to the corner, that line would continue running horizontal, okay? Because again, that one particular line would be at our eye level, okay? Now anything above that line would taper slightly downhill, okay? And then on this wall, it would, again, taper even more, see? And it would run at kind of a downhill angle, you know, from this edge back to the corner.
Mhm.
Now, everything below, okay. We have things making noise over here, you know, because we're in the middle of a thunderstorm or something. Everything below that line, that eye level, would run the opposite direction. It would kind of run uphill.
Oh, that's why it doesn't move back.
Right. See?
Oh,
Now,
okay.
now your
I
table,
thought all of them was going down.
right? You see, your table right here, you know, follows those rules of perspective. You know, this goes back, you know, to a horizon line. Well, guess what? All of the lines on this wall, they would go back to the same horizon line. They have to. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And they would also go back to the same point because the table and that wall are sitting parallel to each other.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. I have to do that one again too.
No, no,
Make that wall go back.
It takes practice, and you know, it just does. Okay, so here, you know,
I said,
again,
let me try it again, and I thought maybe the shading would do it, but
Right.
I still did it wrong.
yeah. Well, you see, it's not about the shading. It's about understanding the perspective that you're dealing with there, and which direction those walls are running. And then what vanishing points, you know, all of those lines are going to go off to. Okay?
Okay.
So, you know, one thing, well, I'll tell you what. Later this week, you know, probably, well, on Friday, you know, we'll do some more work on perspective. Okay? Because you and actually, you know, quite a few people in the class, you know, struggle with that a lot. And it's, you know, it's not an easy thing. You know, it's like once you begin to understand it, it seems to make sense. Up until then, it can be pretty confusing. So Friday, you know, Friday we'll try to do a couple of exercises dealing with perspective, and I'll do a little demo and try to explain vanishing points for a 1 point and a 2 point perspective. Okay?
Okay.
All right. And then we got your boat. And there's something conspicuously missing in that boat.
The man.
Yes, the driver. You know, that boat's run away by itself. That would be a frightening sight out there on the river, actually. Yeah. Yeah, you left out the guy. Is there a reason you left out the guy?
Because I couldn't figure out what do you call it? The angles and stuff of his body.
Yeah, the perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you did a little bit better actually on the boat than you did the wall. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know what I was saying to Susan about how darkening the value on this plane, you know, really the front side of the boat, you know, would help turn it. Well, you got the value dark enough where you get some contrast here, and you understand that, okay, so this is one plane, and then it comes to here, and then it turns, and it's moving backward. And so, you know, you got the idea of that, you know, pretty well. So that works.
The guy fell on the water.
Yeah, you just need a driver.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Bob decided to leave out the pretty young lady, and he put in the flowers at the table. Okay.
Okay.
Now Bob did a little bit better with the perspective than, you know, say Bernice did.
He did a lot better than Bernice did.
Yeah. Well, you kind of get the feeling like this window is moving backward, and then, you know, you get to where the wall turns at this corner and moves back again. You know, and he didn't draw any like long straight lines. He just kind of put in some indication of a pattern back there for the bricks. And then over here, he's just carried it over on this side as well. But these are at a slightly different angle. You know, these are running more, you know, horizontal across the page. And then these are slightly angled, particularly up here, they're just slightly angled upward. So you kind of get that feeling that, you know, the wall is turning. As far as the table goes, you know, the edges of the table, they seem to go back to a vanishing point, you know, on the horizon line. And our eye level here seems to be really kind of like right up close to the top of the plant itself, or the flowers. Let's see, somebody has a question. Rebecca. Oh. Okay, she's being social. All
Anyway,
right.
sorry.
Yeah, but you know, but your vanishing points, you know, seem to go off, you know, in the right direction and things. So, you know, I mean, it feels fairly solid. You get the idea. It's a table, you know, a wall, a window. So all of that feels pretty solid. With
Wait.
pardon?
Before you move on, you look at the bottom part of the table. Isn't that supposed to go back? Yeah, right. Wasn't that back?
Well,
I
now
have no
this-
idea.
Yeah. Yeah, well, these are just like vertical posts on the table. Now it had a leaf that was lowered here.
I think it's the back of the thing, though.
The back of the thing.
I don't remember exactly.
Well, now this is
because I thought,
this is
how
the
do
side.
I said, how do you move it back?
Yeah, well, this is the side, and then this right here is the side facing us.
Right.
Okay.
But those lines that's underneath.
Yeah, those are. It's got like little rails.
Yeah, like little battens.
Yeah, you know,
okay.
that have spaces in
I thought that
between
was the back of the table.
No, that's the side facing us, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I could draw that table for you if you want.
No,
I know that table. It's my table.
I'll wait till I see the pictures again.
Okay. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can get something out. So that we can kind of explain what's going on there. Yeah, let's do that. Somewhere about right up in there. That's our eye level. Let's go through it. And let's see, you got a leg go up here. Got a leg go up there. Four. Sound like somebody's got a bird or something squeaking. Now I'm not going to put in as many rails, but
That's Armando's lady screaming.
she giving everybody a piece of her mind.
I think so.
Mm.
I heard my name.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about you, Armando.
So this is made up of Bob, Bob, we can say Bob is an artist. He have been painting for years. He's doing a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Something kind of like
Bob,
that.
Bob, I think the bricks and the window and the situation of how you place the plant with the flowers upon the surface of the desk are excellent.
Oh, well, thank you. The only thing, well, back and looking at it, that line that's just to the right of the bottom of the vase, it's supposed to be a shadow of the window.
Oh, so the
Yeah,
thing,
the-
and it's just too dark.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
a lot lighter.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of light reflection off the top of the table, which I tried to get in there, but the eraser didn't do such a good job.
Mhm.
Well, you did a real good job of zeroing in on just part of the picture. I did not get those directions.
Oh.
Mine was much more, but I liked what you chose to draw.
Thank you.
That's
Okay.
what I think. We almost had to choose a section because there was so much involved in
Yeah,
the whole thing. It
right.
really was a lot.
Well, yes, that was part of the exercise, learning how to
Right.
be selective about what you're going to draw, what you're going to draw. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing just for a second here, and I'm going to show you just a quick sketch. Okay. Can everybody kind of see what's going on here?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got the top of the table with the vase. Now, the two sides that are running parallel to each other, notice where they're going. They're going back here to a vanishing point, right?
Yep.
And that vanishing point is at our eye level. Okay?
Right.
Now, everything that runs parallel to those has to go back to that same vanishing point. So even at the bottom of the table where the legs are, see, those have to line up and go to that same vanishing point. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And so,
Sure does.
yeah. So that's, really kind of a, at that angle, it's almost in front of us. And so it's almost like a 1-point perspective. Okay. It's not really, it's a 2-point perspective problem, but you can treat it almost like a 1-point perspective. Because really it's just that one angle there.
So one angle makes a 1-point perspective and 2 angles makes a 2-point perspective, correct?
Yeah, because they're going off to 2 separate vanishing points. Okay?
Okay.
That's, the general idea. And of course, we could get into the whole 3-point stuff, but who wants to do that right now? Okay.
Hey, Charles,
We'll save that for Friday.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
Charles, in class, I have to leave you. Thanks for letting me join.
okay.
And is there a way I could contact you, Charles?
Yeah, you could email me.
Awesome.
Yeah, and my email address is Charles, Charles, all lowercase, dot Scoggins, Scoggins, at Fulton, Fulton, County, County, ga.gov.
Got it.
Okay?
Perfect. Thanks so much. You guys have a great class.
All right. Thanks,
Take
Mark.
care. Thanks.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so yeah, we could get into the 1, 2, and 3-point perspective. We've talked about that stuff before, but we can certainly talk about it again. It's something that you know, you have to do a lot of drawing of architecture and interiors and stuff like that, and even furniture in a room and how to place it, to really begin to get sort of a knack for how all that works. But if you're ever in doubt, okay, and you're drawing from life, and let's say sitting in a lobby somewhere, and you want to know, you know, how to lay an angle down on a page, then take your pencil, fold your arm straight out, line the pencil up with that angle, and then drop it directly down onto your page. And that will show you, you know, sort of the angle that you need so you can place it. Okay? And that works, you know, whether you're trying to draw like the angle of the corner of a room, you know, where two walls and a ceiling come together, or a floor, you know, anything like that, or the angle of a roof line. If you're out, you know, standing next to an old barn or something, you want to see what the angle is. Again, you know, just keep your arm straight out, you know, match the angle with your pencil, and then drop it down onto your page. And it will kind of show you exactly where you've got, you know, to place that angle, or how steep it will be. Okay? It's always a good exercise. Okay, so let's look at your boat, Bob. All right, so you've got the guy, and, you know, he seems to be kind of moving on down the river there. And you've got a nice change in value, you know, between the shadow side of the boat, which is the front, you know, and the side plane of the boat, which is catching more light. And then you've actually got the cast shadow on the water, which, if I remember, was actually kind of a little bit longer, you know.
It was, yeah, it was.
But you were running out of paper.
Yep.
That's fine. That's fine. Just take it off. It's fine. But everything works pretty well in here. And you've got, you know, you've got some background, so you get a sense of the width of the river. You've indicated some of the movement in the water and some of the change in value between the tree line being reflected in the water, and then the water reflecting the sky, and then the water in the foreground, you know, with the waves and things moving. So it all looks pretty good. Rebecca, you had something to ask?
Yeah,
Yes, I wanted to know what medium he was using. Is it charcoal?
No, just graphite pencil. I had two different ones. I had an HB and a 4B is what I think I was using.
And you were using the side and the point?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yes. Great, nice.
I like how little he did on the water, but it still has a feel of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the way he did the water too, because I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you basically just have to find kind of that pattern. You know, if you think about water and the way it moves, it's usually kind of like triangles. But, you know, if you've got a boat moving through it and displacing it, pushing it, you get these waves. So you're going to get these kind of longer, like, lines, you know, things kind of moving, you know, out behind the boat.
What do you mean, like triangles?
Okay.
If you spend any time by like a swimming pool or a lake or even the ocean, and you look at waves.
Thank you, honey.
And the
Give your
shape.
baby a big kiss for me. I know she's a sweet girl. Okay, honey.
Okay, yeah, Jean's talking to somebody. Anyway, if you look at the shape of waves and things like that in the ocean, it's kind of this elongated triangular pattern, right?
If something is moving there, you mean? Or if it's just still water?
No, it's like the actual shape of the wave is kind of a triangle.
Oh, okay.
You know, you get this kind of repetitive triangle pattern. You know, same thing in a swimming pool. You know, you see the water kind of, you know, undulating back and forth, you know, and again, you know, it kind of breaks up in these triangular patterns of light and dark. How can I explain that to you?
I'll just look next time I'm near
Well,
water.
yeah, it's think of like a gemstone, like a diamond, right? And you know how it has those flat facets on it, each side of the diamond. Well, water is the same thing. See, only it's moving and it changes shape, right? And so, you know, as one rises, the other one has to fall, right? Because the water's moving from one place to another. And so it creates this faceted kind of pattern to it anytime that it's moving. I'll tell you what, I'll have to find some examples for you
Good. Yeah, good.
to try to explain that. So yeah, in fact, maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. Since we're talking about painting, we'll talk about painting water, okay? That's a good exercise, you know. And talking about moody, you know, water and skies are very moody, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they react to everything that's going on around them.
The wind or whatever.
So anyway, so Bob, tell us what's going on with your painting here.
Well, but this is, I just started this thing. This is all just underpainting pretty much right now. And basically it's kind of a follow on to the Grape Lady in a way. And basically there'll be a table next to her that she's kind of leaning on. And there's going to be an empty chair on the other side. And then there's going to be a tree on the right side, a big, it'll be real in the foreground. So it'll cover up a lot of that background area. And it will be a lemon tree and a bottle of wine with one glass full and one glass empty. So that's my theory here.
Great.
And the wall, look like somebody have been shooting the wall.
Well, you know, these old walls, they just kind of fall, the plaster kind of falls off their case. Okay. I'll dull those out some so they're not quite.
I like the tile roof.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I spent some time with that tile roof there.
So it definitely has a Mediterranean feel because of the tile roof. Looks like a stucco type wall, and then that arched doorway. So I would say probably Spain if I had to make a guess, more than Italy. But I wanted to talk,
you broke up on it.
Oh, I said it looks more like Spain than Italy because of the arched door.
Could be.
You know,
I used 3 different reference photos for this so far.
Okay, but and all of that's fine. You know, all that works just fine. But I can see there's kind of an issue, and it has to do with perspective. So if you look at your tile roof, okay, and the angle of the tiles coming down, you know, that tells you that it's not directly running parallel to us, okay, you know, to our field of vision. And so if that's true, then that bottom line of that wall seems to be moving the wrong direction.
Yeah, yep, you're right. I'm going to straighten that out.
Yeah, and you see, it's not going to be level. It's going to be slightly higher on the left side and slightly lower on the right.
Right.
Yeah, and not extreme, just a slight angle, and then it will kind of fall back in perspective again. Okay.
But she's gonna have a lot of light and dark shadows on her because the tree is going to kind of cover over, be shading the area where she is sitting.
Okay, so she's going to be sitting in the shadow of the tree.
Right.
Okay. All right.
At
Well,
least that's
you
my
know,
hope.
yeah. Well, depending on the time of day and, you know, how bright the light is, you know, she could get a lot of backlighting from that wall. So you might get a lot of reflective lights, you know, on her.
Okay.
And stuff. Now you've got reference for her, right?
Yep.
And you have reference for the building?
I have reference for the door, and I have reference for the tree.
Ah.
There's kind of a patio, like door and patio area.
Does it show any of the tile roof?
No, that I invented.
Okay. So something you might do is you might look for, a piece of architecture with, a tile roof like that. And generally you would find them in Italy, Spain, really any kind of southern Mediterranean parts of Europe, including Greece. You can find them. But I'm sure you can find some kind of photographic reference from that Mediterranean area that you could get some more reference on the tile and the building. And that might help you, in the process. So, yeah.
Okay.
A little bit of research probably be good. Okay.
Okay.
But it's a good idea. I like the lemon tree. Now the lemon tree to me says Italy.
Well, it could be Spain. I mean, they do grow citrus in Spain, southern Spain.
Oh yeah. They actually blood oranges and things are real popular.
Yep. Sangrias.
Yeah. But But I think of lemons as more Italian, than Spanish. But that's just me. Anyway. But okay, good start. Just kind of think about those couple of things. And, the big deal is really kind of look at the perspective, and have the building, kind of move at the same angle and perspective as the tiles and the roof. Okay.
Okay.
Now let's talk about Eloise. Eloise sent this in, and this is a reference photo. And so somebody's got a job of entertaining the little kids, and looks like he's doing a pretty good job at it.
He's a tennis coach, and those are kids from a private school that have to go over to a different building. So he makes it fun for them by carrying them over to the other building.
Okay. All right. Well, somebody got a lot of trophies for something back there.
I wanted to ask you about that. I don't want to have to paint all of those, and then I know you said you emphasize the parts that you want to.
I'm sorry,
Trophies.
you kind of went away on the end there, Eloise.
Oh, okay. I don't want to have to draw all of those trophies, so I know you say something about you emphasize the part of the picture that you want to. So can I just blur those in, or just skip it, or what?
I mean, do you really need to put the shelves back there?
No, I'm trying to reduce work.
Right. I mean, I guess how important are those trophies in the shelf really to the subject that you're painting? Because focal point seems to be the kids and the guy pulling around a park, right?
Right.
So why have you got to have any indication of shelves or anything back there?
Do I need something in the background, though?
A color.
A color.
Simple shapes. I mean, you could indicate some rectangular shapes for, the cabinets, or, say there's some kind of furniture back there. That doesn't mean you have to paint that exact furniture and stuff. You just want to say something's back there.
Yes.
To give it a little bit of depth and space. So you see, you can totally eliminate the trophies. And if you did try putting them back there, they would probably be more distracting rather than beneficial. So that might be one of those things you want to edit out of it. Now let's look at what you've done in the painting so far. And so, you're headed the right direction here. in the sense that your focal point seems to be, the figure of the man, to the kids that he's pulling around in the cart. I want to look at something because to me, yeah, okay. Yeah, when I look at him and how large he is in comparison to the cart, he's about twice as tall, right? So from the bottom of the wheel to the top of this, if you double that, you're just about at his height, right? But width-wise, if I look at this, you're probably like 2/3, 3/4 as tall as he is. And when I go back here to your painting,
That's another thing I wasn't
yeah,
sure.
proportionally, he seems to be much bigger.
Right, okay.
Yeah, which means that either the cart has to get bigger or he's got to get smaller. So
Okay.
now if I look at the height here and if I double that, yeah, probably the top of his hat is really about right there
Okay.
compared to the cart if we didn't change the size of the cart. Now, how much more canvas have you got to the right?
I don't even remember. I can go and look at the picture. I think it's
I mean, is that pretty much so the edge of the canvas right there?
I don't know. I don't remember. I have the picture in another room. I can go and look, but I don't remember. I think it's a little bit, I think it's about the same on the left side as it is on the right side.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
you should have
Yeah.
what you're saying,
I have some more space.
maybe double the width of that to the edge.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, if that's the case, see, and you don't want to make a lot of changes to him, you could just make the cart bigger.
Pardon me?
You could just make the cart bigger.
Okay, yeah, I think the children are too small.
Yeah. Well, they are in comparison to him right now.
Mhm.
Now, if you make the cart bigger and you make them bigger, then they'll fall kind of in proportion. Because like I said, the height of the cart itself, again, is about half, which would probably be about right there. Okay. So you're increasing the size of the cart by about 20%,
Okay.
bigger than it is now. And that also means that the length of the cart, even if it started right there, would probably end pretty close to the edge of what we can see right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because it would have to increase
Yeah,
in
the
height.
kids are small, but
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
they're
as
not
you,
that's about
if you
4 or
increase
5
the
years
size of the
old.
cart, you would increase the size of the kids as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it would all have to get bigger. Kind of proportionate, okay?
All righty. Thank you.
So, I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. Do you want to have to repaint the cart and the kids, or do you want to have to just, change him? Personally, and again, I don't think I'm seeing the whole canvas. So as far as really being able to tell about the composition, I can't tell that much, from this photograph, because I'm guessing that, there's more canvas up above his head. And I'm also guessing that there's more canvas to the right. And if that's the case, then it might be better just making him a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean that you have to get rid of everything here. Pretty much so the whole lower half of his body is fine. It's just, bringing his shoulders down and bringing his head and his hat down lower.
Okay.
So, or as Barbara Bradley would say, it's, it's 2 or 3 brush strokes. Yeah. She always had a good way of making, like changes and stuff. Yeah, it's no big deal. It's a couple brush strokes.
Okay.
Okay. Hello? I don't know what that was. Okay. All right, so we looked at this, you know, and this, I guess she's at Bowden. And then this is your painting, and we had looked at it. And so see, you've darkened up under there. And
Yeah.
so now see how that's beginning to lay down? Where
Yes.
before it didn't quite lay down as much.
Okay. And you told me to make a highlight on the right-hand side of the vertical lines. I should have been on the left-hand side though, right? But I did it on the right-hand side.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yeah, it's lighter on the right. Yeah.
but
It's
I mean, based on that shadow under the table, I thought maybe it should have gone on the left-hand side, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, you know, I mean, it works. I mean, you've got this darker now. And so you see how it goes up under her and sits back? You know, before the value here wasn't nearly that dark and it was kind of flat. Now it actually feels like it's moving back away from you pretty nicely. So that was a good change to it. Now, one thing I do want to point out to you, and let's look at the reference and see. Yeah, okay, right. In your painting, well, they do. They're pretty close. Okay. In your painting, you lined up the baseboard with the bottom of the chair. Okay. See, so they're all on one line. And in your reference, they're close, but they're not on the same line. Actually, the chair sits up above this. Probably where the top of this is where the bottom of the chair is. And then you get that rail, and then you get the cushion on top of it. So that this runs all the way across, you know, underneath it. You know, just a little bit thinner than you've got it right now.
I did that deliberately because I wanted there to be some kind of distinguishing color or something between them. I didn't want it to look like they were blended together. So I raised the cushion on the chair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. But now, okay, I guess my question is, okay, so there's no wooden front to this. It's just the cushion.
Yes.
So then in reality, in your painting, yeah, the cushion of the chair stops here, not on this line. Okay. All right. See, I was reading this as a piece of wood at the bottom of the cushion.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it was lining up with your baseboard, but it's the baseboard. So it should line up with the baseboard. So, okay. Yeah. My bad. All right. I got it. I see what you're doing now. One thing I might point out, and let's see. Yeah, okay. You see the change in value from the front face of the chair to the cushion, you know, that she's actually sitting on?
Yes.
And how it gets lighter right here at the edge, and that the upward facing cushion is generally overall lighter than the plane that's, you know, facing us, right? So in your painting, you've got a little bit of change here. I would make that a little bit darker, that front face.
A little bit what?
A little bit darker.
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit darker than you've got it. You know, maybe by 1 or 2 more values. And then leave the top of this the way you've got it, you know, up here and up here. Don't change that. It's really just this front, you know, the front of the cushion that we're just making a little bit darker.
So
Okay.
I need to change the other chair too so it will match?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just this front, yeah, just this front face here. I mean, you've pretty much got the change in value between the side, the top. And if this front here were as dark as that, you know, then it would turn. You did it on your table, see, the front edge of the table versus the top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got a nice value change there. Now you didn't do it, you know, on the lower shelf, which is kind
The wood was so thin.
of, yeah, but there's still going to be some kind of edge there.
Okay.
And since this is getting darker, I would probably do something very similar around this front edge, you know, even though it's thinner, just because it will help it read and not feel like a perfectly flat shape with no dimension in it. And again, you know, you've got some indication of it, but you see, I would push this as dark as this.
Okay.
You know,
I
that'll give you kind of a nice three-dimensional structure to it.
Do I need to sharpen the edges and straighten the edges of those pictures that are in the very top? I just left them kind of haphazard.
Well, they're much softer than, say, the elongated paintings that are behind her.
All right.
So, yeah.
I think being softer, it looks like they recede back.
Well, they
it.
do. And see, they actually move back further than these because these have a much sharper edge. So what you might think about doing is you might think about softening the edge, you know, of these two paintings a little bit.
Okay.
And then again, because they're not so sharp, they're not going to pop forward, you know, and be so close to her, you know. It will give us a little bit of breathing room in there.
All right.
Thank
you.
That's kind of my thought.
Is the shadow underneath the table supposed to be darker?
Well, it is quite a bit darker than it had been, and it works. You know, I mean, see how it gets pretty dark back in here.
Well, not there. Underneath the table.
You mean right here?
No.
Up.
Oh, you mean up here?
Right.
Oh, on the inside of the table. Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, you probably need that in there.
Make it darker then, right?
Oh yeah. You've got it's all going to get quite a bit darker up in here because this is a cast shadow. So again, look at the reference. Yeah, so really from the edge of the leg of that table all the way over, you know, it's all pretty dark in here. Except for that front face that's facing us in the leg. So.
Okay. Will do.
John.
Nice.
I'm here.
Here. Present. Counted for. Okay, so you've got a nice water scene, and it's going over some rocks. You got some trees and things in the background, and it, you know, so let's, from just the standpoint of you know, what comes forward, what moves backward. You know, overall, you've got a nice composition set up there. Your overall value contrast works, you know, really nicely. The only thing I would caution you against is, so this, you know, hillside or trees or
right,
whatever it is, you've got it broken up into, well, really, you know, 4 kind of distinct areas. You've got this area which is a little more muted, but a little bit warmer.
Right.
And it seems to feel far away. And that's good, because it's what you want it to do. Then you get here. And I guess my feeling is that, The color there is a little bit too intense.
Okay. There is actually like I was trying to do like 3 levels, the roof R1, then sort of a middle, and then another area in front of that being a little dark. That was
Right.
trying to do.
Yeah, but you see, I would kind of encourage you to do it just a little bit differently. Where, all right, your value here overall is fine, but it's a question of the intensity of the color.
Ah, okay.
Okay. I want to gray that down,
Right.
and since this is closer to me, it can actually be slightly darker in value, but the color can be more intense up in here. And you see, it's just the opposite.
Okay.
See, this is more gray.
Right. Yep.
Muted.
Yep.
And see this, so this is fighting to want to come forward in front of this.
Okay.
Yeah. And so again, graying that down will help that sit back. And then you can put a little more intense color up in here that will pull it forward.
This is very small for me. This is like a 6x9.
Okay. So then, when you get up into this area, you can leave these alone, okay? Because you've got a good deal of intensity in here.
Right.
Now, you might find some stronger darks up in here, and that will move it even closer to us. Now, that doesn't mean that everything has to be dark. It's just little touches of stronger dark. And make sure that those stronger darks, that the color stays intense as well.
Okay.
Okay, because again, you're going to need that intensity to pull this side of the painting forward, which is closer to us, and whatever's happening back here should help. It should help recede, away from us. So, as far as the water goes, you've got a lot of nice brushwork up in here and movement and stuff, and the edges tend to be a little crisper and sharper up in here, so that the whole lower part of the water below the falls moves forward. Everything back in here seems to, sit back pretty well. So there's not really much of anything you need to do, with the water.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, the main thing I would concentrate on is, just gray this back a little bit. Now, the way you might do that, if it were me, I would probably take a brush. I'd probably just wet that area and then wait, 5-10 minutes, and then go back in with a paper towel and don't rub, just lay it down. Yeah. And that's going to lift some of that paint out of there, and that might take the edge off of it.
What about one of mine you suggested going over with a red wash, and that really worked on that particular painting. Would that work on this one?
It would. It's the same problem. The green is too intense, so
right.
You can always go to a direct complement if you wanted to. Before I did that, though, I would probably try just lifting some of it.
Just the water. Okay.
Yeah, and see if that can get you where you needed to go. Because I think if you just hit it with the water, you're going to lower the intensity a little bit. But
yeah, definitely, right.
Yeah, but the main thing you're going to do is you're going to also lower the value contrast, which is going to let a lot of this, even if you don't put any more intense color in there, this will become more intense than that and move it forward. Okay.
And this whole piece of the stories. The other day, at one of our sessions, somebody was doing a postcard. Can't remember who it was.
Armando.
Anyway, Armando. Yeah, Armando. What is yes for his lady friend. Well, a friend of mine who lives in Marinette, Wisconsin, on the Menominee River, is having a birthday next month, and she lives right close to the river there. And this is a picture of the Menominee River, so That's why it's such a small size. I found an envelope I had that would fit it. So I'm just gonna send it to her.
Okay. Well, that's a nice gift.
Very nice.
It's real nice.
I thought so.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Who is this? Oh. Huh. How did we get to me? I don't know. I'm supposed to be at the very bottom. Let's go by me. Is
You got my drawings, didn't you?
no. I did not. No. Got Rebecca.
But there they are. No, no.
Yeah, I got Rebecca's. I got some from Veronica. I had some things from Lady, but she hasn't been here lately. And then I
send them to you right now.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, send it to me.
Okay, hang on 1 second. You'll have them.
Okay.
Did you get my drawing?
Did I get your? No, I didn't get your drawings either, June.
Who got it? I just after class I just straight sent to you.
Oh, so you sent them to me on Friday?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I sent mine on Friday as well.
Yeah, just after
that may
class.
be the problem. Okay. All right. Hang on 1 second. Let me go back.
Yeah, I sent an apple on another apple on Monday.
Oh, you sent another apple on, well, I got your apple.
But that was another one.
Oh, there's another one yet. Okay. Wow.
I think I sent
Okay, I
those
just
you showed us it.
I just sent them to you, Charles.
All right, hang on 1 sec. Let me take a look and see what we got in Outlook, because I didn't see. So, but I didn't go back as far as Friday, I don't think. All right, so I got your new email with the drawing. Let's go back and see June.
You have a lot of people to keep up with.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's the bit.
I know. Well, see, that's kind of the problem, is, keeping up with all you rascals.
Yeah, I sent you Friday.
Okay, here, hang on.
Yeah, that's my first one. That first one there.
Yeah, okay, that was 7/16, my drawings, okay. Yeah, I've got June, well, we say, yes, I have June drawings.
Can you go back to mine?
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second. Okay, yeah, let me download this. And,
I sent 3 drawings also on Friday.
you did?
Uh-oh. Friday wasn't a good day.
Okay. June, did you just send the 1 drawing?
No, I sent the 3.
Did you send them all in the same email, or did you send separate email?
Suppose same email.
Okay, because the only thing I've got in this email is just this 1 image. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, really?
Very.
That's all that was in it. It's just this 1. There's nothing else.
Uh-oh.
All right. So let's see. Let's go back to okay, well,
That first one there, that's the one I sent Friday where it says our chair. And then I just sent you one. No, that's today's.
okay.
I sent you one today. It says subject was drawings.
Yeah, I
saw it earlier.
okay. Well, it's got to be there somewhere. Okay, so this is Eloise.
No. Oh, yeah, it is.
So yeah, let me. lower this out of the way. We can get back to the. So let me get these down. And then we'll download John's. And we got June's downloaded now. So. Yeah. We'll find them.
That's okay.
Good.
Yeah, I saw them in the first list when you first brought up the list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that, whoever that is.
It's mine.
Oh, is that yours, Eloise?
Yes.
Yeah, this is.
I love it.
Well, thank you. She has issues though.
She probably has issues. You know, she getting married, you know.
Sweetie, we've all got issues. You know.
Uh-huh, she's getting married. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's see. All right, so I got Eloise's June. I'm gonna open this again and see, but I think, yeah, I think it's just that one drawing.
Yeah, maybe missed it. I don't know. I suppose I supposed to give you 3. Maybe I just send 1. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you only sent 1, because I'm looking on the.
Oh, I see mine appreciating.
Oh wait a minute.
JAK.
We're back in the inbox. We need to go to the.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine has the subject January 16th
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine was January 19th.
or in July.
Yeah, July. Yeah. Well, I'm looking on the 16th, so I got 2 from Claudia. Well, no, 1. And then I got something from Jackie, which I downloaded.
If you look down, if you look all the way about 2/3 down.
Yeah.
uh,
Well, 2/3. Huh? Well, there's Art Share, 16th July drawing class.
That's the one, yeah, those are mine.
Okay. Yeah, right there. Okay. So yeah, let's get those.
That's nice.
Looks like John just did the water in the tree line.
Yeah, after the guy fell out and the boat went off on its own, there wasn't much left.
Right. Right.
Oh, that looks good.
Yep. There's always a smart one in the crowd. Okay. All right. So let's see.
It depends all on where you are in the lineup.
Uh-huh. Okay.
What
All
kind
right.
of comments you have.
All right. Well, I think that's everybody. Okay. All right. So let's.
Except I sent an apple on Monday.
Okay. Well, Monday would have been the 19th, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday.
I don't see
I,
it.
Charles, I just send you 2.
Okay.
Another 2.
Okay. Well, at any rate, Bernice, I'm looking here at the dates.
Okay, don't worry about it. I'll just send it again.
Yeah, and I didn't get anything from you on Monday
Okay.
that's showing up here. Okay.
All righty.
All right. So let's go back look in the regular inbox. All right. So June just sent me 2 more drawings, I guess. And then John had resent his drawings, but we got them downloaded.
Charles, go back. Go back.
Well, hang on.
Okay.
In the middle of trying to do a couple of things here. All right. So this is, okay. Yeah. This is 1. So let's download this for June. And let's keep going down. Maybe we'll find, yes, the next one, the guy in the boat. Okay. All right. So we should have all these on the desktop now. All right. Now I'll go back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe it was this morning. It might have been this morning. Go.
Yeah. Well, it's right here. It's
go down about 5. go down about 5. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
right here, apple
Right
shade.
there. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, you sent it this morning.
I don't know what day it is.
It's okay. All right. All right. Good. We got that one too. Come on. Are we? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't need to do that. All right. Wrong thing. All right. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else I missed here? Nope. Okay. That looks like it's probably about it. Okay. Jeez. Come on. My little trackpad here on my Mac is wearing out, I think. All right. So here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna close, we're gonna stop sharing A. And I gotta close this, put all the new ones in the folder, and then we'll reopen it. How's that? Sound like a plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And that way we can get to all that good stuff there. Share. Yay. All right, we made it. Ta-da. All right. So let's try this again.
If at first you don't succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Fine. Okay, so let's go back and see. Let's go see what we can see. All right, so yeah, there's Susan's, Eloise's or Bernice's apple, and then okay. So there's Bernice's other apple she was talking about. And I'm just trying to, okay. So Bernice?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, you've got overall, I mean, the shading on the apple looks fairly good. We got to talk about, labeling, like what's what. And we'll do that on Friday. I'll put a demo together and I'll break it down into the 5 values. And that way you'll have something to look at while we're talking about it, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, because we got to get a real distinct shadow versus light, and then we've got to break the shadow into the core shadow, and reflected light. And then with the light side, we need to break it into, light or mid-tone, and then highlight. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll talk more about that Friday.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
All right. Okay, so Eloise. Okay. All right, so there's Eloise's guy in the boat. Okay. And again, see how that works? She gets this dark enough. So that makes the side of the boat, feel like it's in light. And the same thing with the shading on the pants and, the lower part of the torso here. Seems to fall into some kind of shadow, which lets the shoulder and the face you know, and the left edge of the legs, you know, catch more light. And it's like you've got to have one if you want the other one to work. You know, they rely on each other. It's a, what do they call that? A symbiotic relationship. So here's Eloise's.
I love that picture.
It's disproportional because at first I had drawn her. I was having some interruptions here and I would go in and out. Anyway, I had first made her head, her upper body smaller than, and it wasn't in proportion to the skirt. So I decided to make the skirt smaller, but then I thought I can just make the upper part larger. So I did that, and now she's just disproportionate. So, but anyway.
So you want to hear the good news?
Okay.
You still have a lot more paper left at the bottom of the page.
Right.
So how hard would it be to say start from here, right? And just, you know, bring that down and just make a nice kind of curved or sweeping shape, you know, and connect back up to here to lengthen her.
Yeah, I should have had Susan because the clock was ticking away and I needed to have somebody do that.
Yeah. But I mean, again, you know, it's and you don't have to put in everything up here. You know, again, it's kind of looking for something that tells you a little bit about the form and the movement. And it could just be as simple as a line. And it doesn't even really have to connect over here. You know, it's just, you know, to get a little more length, you know, and then let, you know, the viewer kind of fill in the rest of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Did you do the girl and the flower?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, where did it go?
You had it on the screen when you were first searching, so.
Yeah. All right, is it in here somewhere?
Don't worry about it, it's okay.
Okay. Well, we may find it a little lower in the list. Okay. All right, so then we got a couple of drawings by John. Okay, so there's the water and the tree line along the edge of the river, minus the boat. Okay. And so, okay, for what you put in there, you know, everything.
This was hard pressed charcoal. It was the first time I ever used it. So this is my first attempt with a hard pressed charcoal stick.
You mean compressed?
Compressed, yeah.
Yeah, compressed charcoal. Okay. Yeah, that stuff is really dark and really black and really
Yes.
messy.
Yeah, extremely messy. Never again.
Right. Well, you know, I mean, actually, it's a great drawing material. You know, you just have to. Well, some people do complete drawings with it. Other people will work with a variety of different types of charcoal.
Yeah,
So-
I could see that where it would work that way. Yeah.
Yeah, where they'll start off with vine, and then they'll go to kind of a medium hardness in the vine, and then they'll go to a very, very soft vine, and then they'll go to compressed charcoal, you know, as the final. And so, again, you know, it's like you got to keep building up layers. And a lot of times when you're working with vine charcoal, the way to do that is, you know, you work and you develop your drawing, and then you take a chamois or something, you just soften it back, and then you spray it, you know, and fix it.
Right.
Right. And then let that dry, and then you go back in and you do another layer. And, you know, with vine charcoal in particular, you may end up with 8 to 10 passes, you know, before you can really build up, you know, the density.
And you can build it up over the spray?
Yes.
Once you spray it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is with the spray, you just have to be judicious with it and do it lightly. You know, you don't
Yes.
want to, you don't want to like saturate the page. You know, you just want to spray it lightly. And see, that's the beautiful thing about hairspray is, you know, you just back up about, 12 to 14 inches with a can of hairspray and then just lightly dust it. And it's enough to tack it down there so you can go back and put another layer on. Okay. But by the time you get to about the 8th or 10th layer and you keep spraying it, it'll begin to get a little bit slick on you. And so, then you pretty much can't put any more on there at that point. Okay?
Okay. You skipped past my dress up above.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Now, it was Susan, which she's probably gone now. She had a doctor's appointment. That's too bad because this would be a good example for her. So when I was talking about you don't have to put everything in, this is a pretty good example. You simplify a lot of the detail in here, and you got this nice sweeping motion, around the dress, right? And then you got the tension here where it's being gathered up. So, by not putting everything in there, that makes these lines kind of moving around the form, a little bit stronger and a little more descriptive of the shape of the dress and the way it's moving. And so that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I started out on a high note and ended up on a very low note.
Okay. Are you talking about this as a low note?
That is the low note.
Okay.
I don't know where her shoulder got so dislocated.
Well, I can tell you exactly where it got dislocated. Okay. You turned her into a midget because you basically just ran out of paper. See?
Okay.
And so you were bound and determined to get the hand in there on that page. And for the size of the head that you had, there was no way that was going to happen.
Right.
Because her hand was actually about 3.5 heads down from the top, and you don't have.
Yes.
The reality is her hand would be right down about where my cursor is right now. Yeah. And so rather than trying to squeeze that in there, you could have lengthened that upper arm and, down to the elbow.
Right.
And you could have shown that much and then just let the rest of it go. And then, of course, the table and the vase would be much bigger and much further away from her.
Correct.
Because the vase would probably be somewhere over here. Height-wise, I think you're close, maybe a little bit taller, but width-wise, you've really narrowed it down quite a bit. It's,
that was I realized the paper constriction there, but on the bottom with the hand, I tried to jab it all in.
Yeah. Well, because you were running out of paper, and can I make a bold guess here?
Yes.
My guess is, in looking at this painting, the drawing, what John did is he focused on the face first, and he
Correct.
decided to add in the body later, and that's
Yep.
what he discovered. He didn't have enough paper to get the hand and everything on, so he made her chest much smaller, and her breast much smaller, and the
Yes.
rest of her torso much smaller to squeeze her onto, that amount of space.
I was just gonna do the face and the head. Then I had still time on the clock. So I thought, well, let me go further. And I should have just stopped.
Excuse me. Yeah. That's that's a pretty typical problem, you know, which is why I kind of encourage you, rather than focus in one area.
Correct.
Yeah. You know, just roughly place everything and make sure to get all the elements in there and then begin to develop them further.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I did on the first two, the dress and the water, sort of the overall total. And this one I didn't.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well. Let's see.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Whose were these?
Mine.
Oh,
That's pretty nice.
okay. I thought, okay. So this is yours. Okay. All right. Yeah. Evidently it didn't get labeled. Okay. That's where it went to. All right. So, okay. So in looking at the perspective of the table, and to the chair and the figure, all of that's pretty nice. Now, I don't really quite know what's going on with this, but yeah, that's probably not the top of that wall right there, because she's sitting down, so the top of the wall will be way up here. But you got the idea that this is moving back, other than the perspective lines seem to be going off the wrong direction. These you got, moving across, but our eye level was really kind of right about where hers was, and then from that point, these would be moving upward.
Oh, okay.
And then down below our eye level, then they would be moving downward.
Okay, that's why they look funny.
Yeah, it's that 2-point perspective thing. So yeah, we'll talk more.
But it went backwards. Mine didn't even go backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got somewhat of a feel, but again, she did the same thing you did, Bernice, which is for half of the drawing, it's at our eye level. And then for the wall or the table, we got way, way up above, our eye level, so we were kind of looking down on it. And so that's what's happening here in the background. And it's not the same, it's not in the same perspective as the table and the chair. And since they're all sitting on the same floor together, then they have to line up.
Okay.
So,
okay, I think I got it for the next drawing.
okay. And then, is this June?
Yes.
Ah, okay. All right. So here's the same drawing with June. Now June, again, it's kind of like, you gave us this elevated view, like you're really looking down on the table quite a bit. And we were a little bit, but not, I don't think nearly as much as indicated. So again, it's at those perspective ideas. Now, you did a nice thing here in the background that you just put in a tone, and you didn't really try to give us a lot of information on the wall. And so, it's not taking away from the focal point, which is really the figure right here. That and her relationship to the flowers right there. And so you got both of those in there, and they work pretty well together. And leaving, a lot of this just as a tone, or just, there's something back there, but, we don't really know what it is. It's fine. You don't have to know everything. When you get to the guy in the boat. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Proportionally, he's kind of big for that boat.
Yeah, yeah.
Just saying the scale and the proportion of it.
Oh, too big.
Yeah. Now the thing is, he could be like the top of his head could be down here where his shoulders
That's
are.
Yes,
Right in
yes. Yeah.
And it would have probably been, in scale. The
Mhm.
other thing is, if you wanted to leave him that big, then your boat would have to be over here about 3 inches off of the page on the right-hand side. Okay. To get the length,
Okay.
the proportion of the boat. So you can treat it either way, but you need to pay attention to how big is he in comparison to the boat, and or vice versa. And as you start measuring that stuff, checking it, you'll find the underlying proportions in it. So
Thank you.
then we have your lovely lady. Now, I want you to notice something
Mhm.
about this drawing that June did. She put in, some indication of the different folds and things in here. But generally, the thing that makes this look like it moves is this sweeping line that goes around to the edge of the dress. Okay. And that really helped it, because that kind of set up the shape, but it also set up the movement, or the idea that she's, turning as we're looking at her. And the only thing I would change about this drawing right now, June, is I would kind of like the bottom here to kind of follow that other line, kind of parallel it a little bit more so that this was really down here.
Okay.
And kind of mirrored that shape.
Okay.
As it is, it kind of flattens out a little bit here.
Uh-huh.
And it needs to stay curved, to say that she's really spinning, or moving, okay?
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now Jackie's not here, is she? Jackie Lattimore? Come out wherever you are. Yep. Yep, I don't see her. Okay. Yeah, she sent this in. This is from, I think she said the Tuskegee Institute. And then this is some of the ladies' work, but ladies not here. And then we got Rebecca. Rebecca, are you here? Yep.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. Nice drawing.
That's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got good proportions.
Okay.
Height to width.
哦，你带你妈妈去啊？
You
哦哦，OK，在哪里啊？
mute yourself.
75啊，你说？哦，Noonday Park，OK，Noonday Park 在哪里？我也搞不清。Canton Road。哦，Canton Road。哦。
There we go. I got her. All right. At any rate, but you got really nice movement, in the flow of the lines and stuff here. So you captured all that really nicely. Okay. Let's see. There's your guy in the boat. Okay. And again, your proportions and things pretty good. The thing you missed was. Here it is. Right here on the front side of the boat, it didn't turn up quite that much. It was more, out in front. But that whole underside of the boat was quite a bit dark.
I'm sorry, could you,
Pardon?
Charles, could you repeat that? It came through very blurry. Just please repeat what you just said.
Okay. I said, overall, your proportions in the boat are good. But you needed to push this into a shadow See, because you've got the same values on both, and that can't happen. This was in total shadow, this was in light. And so overall, the value needs to get much darker here. But it also needs to kind of change the shape. It doesn't turn up as much. It actually kind of comes out a little more to a point.
Okay.
So,
I made it a little too, turned up too soon.
yeah, on the front. Yeah,
I understand
if you were trying to go down a river in that, you know, that would be a very rough boat ride, because you've got, you know, almost this flat wall, you know, hitting all that water. That's why they take those boats and they really lay that edge forward so that it pushes the water up under it.
Very good. Thank you.
Hydrodynamics. Then we have a very labeled, you know, piece.
Oh my God.
But, you know, it's a good plan. You know, you get a good explanation of what everything is. But as far as the drawing goes, you know, overall your proportions are pretty good. Your perspective in general looks pretty good. I would have liked to have seen you at least attempt to try to put, you know, some values and things in there, and kind of explore that.
Yes,
whole,
I think that the discussion was send them in. The discussion was send them in without putting color on them, and that's why I did that.
okay, well,
Rebecca, were you a teacher in your former life?
How did you guess?
I just looked at all your notes.
Yeah, that's my learning style. It always has been.
yeah, okay, yeah,
Very good.
yeah, probably not color, but value.
Right, dark versus light. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And
More value.
yeah, I mean, again, everybody approaches this differently. You know, you're approaching it in a more lineal way. But if you're going to do lineal, then you have to get really good at understanding where to emphasize marks and lines, and where to be a little more subtle with it. Okay? Because you got to have some variety, you know, otherwise it becomes a very kind of flat, uninteresting drawing.
Right.
So learning how to use that pencil and change the line weight as well as the value is going to be really important to you. Okay. Let's see. We have Veronica. You here?
I'm here.
Okay. I see the top of your head. Now I see your glasses. Yay, okay. All right. So so this is the girl with the flowers. And okay, like Armando, you've got a good start on a face there. Kind of the same criticism. Now, the difference is you did get the shadow under the neck, and so it separates that jawline out and doesn't make this flat through here. You could have carried it over to the other side a bit.
Okay.
And really kind of isolated that jawline and moved it forward. And then the other thing is kind of the same idea. You've got the front plane of the face that was lit, but then you have to indicate where the side plane of the face is, because this whole side plane was in almost total shadow. You know, there really wasn't very much there. And without it, you know, this part of the jawline feels as close as this part, and it's not. Okay. So it's trying to find, you know, how do you describe a form? Okay. you know, and break it into planes, you know, front plane, side plane, you know, top plane, bottom plane, right? Think of it like a cardboard box, right? You know, and right here along this edge is where that box bends and becomes the side of the box, and this is the front of the box, right? Does that make any sense to you?
It does. It does.
Okay. All right. And then you have your dress. And again, you know, your proportions overall are pretty good. You know, the dress itself probably could have been, you know, just a little bit fuller, a little bit longer, right?
Okay.
Here. And it would have made her look a lot more graceful. Because if you look at her arms, you know, she's got very long, thin arms, which she did. And along with that, though, if she's going to have very long arms, you know, this arm here is really only going to end at like the top of her thigh.
Right. Okay.
Which means that her legs would probably be down to about here. Okay. So that dress would have to get, you know, quite a bit fuller. Yeah.
I like her skirt. It's so buoyant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, it's
you.
got great movement and stuff in it, and the way that you use the pencil and you kind of laid it on its side to create, you know, folds and edges and things in there are all pretty good. And you didn't overdo it. You put just enough in there to go, okay, yeah, this is not a flat dress. It's got some form in it, and it feels like she's moving, which is what we wanted to do. Then we have your boat. Now, you made a very short boat.
Yeah, now I see it on screen. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a little boat.
Yeah, yeah, probably a little too short.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, you got the movement of the figure, you know, in his pose. You just needed to lengthen out your boat. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's about it. That's all I got. And it's 4:13. I'll show you mine. That was my boat. Okay. Now you see how I pushed the value on the front side of this? And it really sets up a definite contrast between the side and the front. Now, the other thing is I didn't put in a lot of detail in the water because I was just basically trying to say there was a lot of light hitting that top surface of the water. And then as far as the side of the boat, I gave it a value because there wasn't really as much light hitting the side. So, you know, and I didn't want to just leave it the same value as the paper because, again, I wanted something that would create a form and it would, you know, be different, you know, than what's in the background here. So just laying in a value, you know, really helped, you know, kind of separate things out a little bit. Here's my lady, you know, who's twisting and turning. So, and I kind of, you know, it kind of reminded me of the dress, the bottom part of the dress, kind of like flower petals.
Mm.
Yeah, and how they kind of move. So. And last but not least, this is the one that everybody had fun with. Yeah, flowers, table. You know, I didn't put her full figure in there. It's really, for me, you know, the story was really kind of the relationship of her and the flowers. The other thing is, I actually moved the flowers and her closer together than they were in the photograph. That just made more sense to me. And I never got around to, you know, actually putting the window and stuff. But, you know, I did start putting in some value in the background so that it still gave me the effect of this sinking back into shadow and, you know, all of this stuff over here to the right, you know, being in light.
What are you using for your white, your light highlights?
I'm just using Prismacolor pencils,
Ah, okay.
right? So I've got a white Prismacolor pencil, and then I've got a it's a pencil that's called Sepia. Okay, SEPIA, and it's just kind of a dark brown. So, but the nice thing with the white pencil is if you, let's say that you put a line down that you don't want to remain there, you know, you can always go back over with that white pencil and just very kind of lightly work over that line and fade it back, you know, until it's the same value as the paper. And the line just seems to kind of disappear. It's really still there. It's just, you can't really notice it. Anyhow, it's everything I got. Anything we need?
Okay.
Anything we need to talk about between now and tomorrow?
Charles, if you know you're not going to be able to join the meeting because I've got another doctor's appointment tomorrow, will it be recorded? I want to see how you're drawing the lesson on drawing water.
Oh,
that's on Friday.
Well, no.
Right.
No, we're going to talk about water tomorrow.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. It will be, and it will be up on YouTube in usually about 3 weeks.
Okay.
Is
All
usually
right.
how long it takes.
I have not been able to find any of them on YouTube.
Really? They're really
Really?
easy. Yeah, just go in and put in Dorothy C. Benson Center and my name.
Right. Oh, Benson Center. Okay, I've been doing senior services.
No, just put in Dorothy C. Benson.
Okay.
And well, you could try the Department of Senior Services in my name.
I hadn't had any luck.
Yeah, I haven't tried that. I put Benson Center. Yeah, the Dorothy C. Benson Center, you know, comma or dash, and then Charles Scott.
Okay. Thank you.
And they'll be in there. Okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
All right, and then you can go back and look at
Anything.
any of the classes really from the last year and a half. Because they're basically all up there. So.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. So
Okay.
I will see you guys at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about water and how to
Very
pick
good.
water. Okay.
See
Okay.
y'all. Bye-bye.
And,
Bye.
Thank you.
all right. Say it again.